Nah, I think Hangman's winning the world title.
We'll see.
Well, it'd be funny if he didn't. I would cackle, but I don't think they can miss
I got
at
them
this
death hands,
moment.
baby. Who needs diamond hands? You got death hands.
I don't. You can't miss this moment. You can't. So Moxley's title reign. I've seen some chatter about it. Like, we got to recognize it was much better than we gave it credit for. It's like, let's not do revisionist history here, folks. Let's not do that. I know everyone thinks it's going to end on Saturday, and it should. And this Hangman feud has been really good. The Orange Cassidy feud was fine because Orange Cassidy was a fine first challenger that nobody thought was going to win. That four-way stuff wasn't good. That Cope stuff was god awful, and it went way too long. It got way better after the Cope stuff. Why? Because he feuded with actual top challengers after that. He feuded with Swerve and now Hangman. So people thought, like, oh, there's a chance he's going to lose. But the original mission of the Moxley title reign, where he's killing Bryan Danielson in a great scene, and AEW is rallying to fight against him, got lost along the way. And then Moxley has become kind of a chicken shit after that. Like, after the Cope stuff, even before the Cope stuff, he kind of became a chicken shit heel, which didn't make a whole lot of sense for how it started. And it's prevalent to here because he's basically lying on what he actually knows. He's doing the running away from everybody. And that's a complete 180 from where this started, where he was willing to fight everybody to try to save AEW and build AEW in his words or in his vision. Now he's trying to say Hangman doesn't have it. Hangman's never been to the mountaintop. Hangman's never battled like I had. He did the same thing with Swerve. And Swerve and Hangman had to remind him, like, no, we've been there. We have battled. Hangman's like, I beat you in a Texas death match. Moxley is lying to himself about who Hangman and Swerve are, probably because he feels threatened. But that is a 180 of what we saw at the beginning of this story, where Moxley was willing to fight anybody and he wanted people to step up. And maybe he felt comfortable because there were no real threats stepping up to him. But they've switched how Moxley has acted. He has gone from wanting to batter everybody and build AEW in his vision to being threatened and being a little more cowardly heel and running away from the problems. It's been a switch. Has it worked? Maybe. I think it's worked to an extent that people were invested in Swerve, and people have invested in Hangman. I think Moxley has looked the best out of this in certain aspects, but it's been better after the Cope stuff for sure. Because the Cope stuff never made sense. Because they tried to do Cope, but he didn't fit either of AEW focus on the young guys, build it in the vision, focus on the homegrown people. That didn't Cope at all. He's old. He's tired. Works with fucking children. The Cope didn't work at all in that. Swerve and Hangman work. But let's not do revisionist history of, oh, this title reign is overhated. Look at these really good matches. Yeah, there's some good matches in there. You wrestle enough matches, you're as good as Jon Moxley, you have the talent that AEW has, you're gonna have good matches in there. But let's not pretend like the majority of the Orange Cassidy stuff didn't quite hit. And I love Orange Cassidy. The build to the four-way wasn't good. That four-way wasn't flat as hell. All the Cope stuff outside of the spiked bat spot wasn't good.
which was the
And
blow off. Like
yeah,
that was it. People just wanted that. They had to make up for the night before.
that feud went on for like 3 months.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like
Too.
the matches that they did, yeah, they just kept going after that. But they never fought for the title again outside of they
No,
did
no,
the
no.
street fight blow off.
I know that, but I'm saying like that feud went for like 3 months. It
Oh yeah,
started
yeah,
at the
yeah,
end of World's End,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And then it ended at Revolution, which was early March. So at least 2 full months. So yeah, let's not act like this was the greatest title reign ever. It was a fine title reign that got better once he faced guys that felt like threats. But we were all living through the early Death Rider stuff and the middle Death Rider stuff. No one was happy with that. No one.
And then they got to Swerve, and the Swerve Dynasty match was the first one that felt like now you got to pivot because we're coming out of the Cope stuff. But when in reality, what we were doing was going back to the original story for Mox, which was I want these guys to beat me. I want a homegrown talent to get this. It started to bring it kind of back up, and then the Mimosa Joe match at Beach Break was a little weird. I mean, again, I didn't love it. The steel cage match, like the build was weird, the timing was weird, but it was a good match.
The
And then they
Gabe
brought in
Kid
Gabe Kidd.
stuff didn't
Yeah,
make a ton of sense.
that part was not great. But again, but the idea was they were bringing stuff back up to try and bring the Death Rider story back into prominence. And they had a lot of climbing to do after the stuff with Cope, because that was at its lowest point. I know you said the 4-way wasn't great, and you're right. But like the idea was that we started on the ascent with Swerve. People felt a certain way because Swerve didn't win a dynasty. A lot of people got into their own pocket, or got into their own bags about having Strickland win the title, having Swerve win didn't happen. So people got real upset about that. But reality was like we were going towards All in Texas. We were going towards whatever this moment is supposed to be. And there was a lot of people who also thought maybe this was Darby, or maybe this was Osprey, maybe this was Hangman. And Hangman kind of surged at the end to find his way into this main event. And I think that got a lot of people excited as well because it didn't feel as expected as the other two names. And by the way, great problem to have where suddenly you got three, high class wrestlers on your roster that could be going into the main event for this show. And Moxley's going to put up the title again. And this could be the culmination of it. And it needed to get here.
They got to where they wanted to go in the end, which was with Hangman. Maybe it's with Darby if they decide to keep the title on Moxley on Saturday.
Please just do it. Do it so I can have this moment.